Hello, I will be your guide and will walk you through the process of obtaining an order of protection. This video will show you where you can find reliable legal information and help you understand what happens when you go to court.
Hello, Cheryl. Thanks so much for coming. I figured since you were a domestic violence advocate that you could probably help me.
Of course, Angela, I'll do whatever I can to help.
Things at home have gotten really bad, and I'm wondering if I should or can get an order of protection.
Wow, this is a big step for you, Angela, and I'm here for you. You should know that only certain types of relationships allow the court to issue orders of protection. They are people you live with, people you date, or people you're related to. The court cannot issue an order of protection against people such as coworkers or neighbors.
This involves my husband, who I live with.
Okay, you do know that an order of protection is an order issued by a judge that stops further domestic abuse, often called domestic violence, right?
Well, yes, but I'm just not sure that my situation is domestic violence.
See, people misunderstand just what domestic violence is. It is not just physical abuse. Domestic violence can be emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or any other harassment that interferes with a person's liberties.
Well, this is my situation then, but what about my children?
They are protected by the law too, as well as any other member of your household.
Good. Well, I think I need to get an order of protection for me and my kids.
Well, I can guide you through the process. The things you need to do are to check into your available resources to help you, and you need to put together a safety plan to help protect you and your children. Okay, then that means we need to do a few things. We need to get an order of protection. We need to better understand the court system, and we need to fill out the appropriate paperwork. Come on, let's get started.
Do I need a lawyer?
In any type of case, it's always best if you can get a lawyer to represent you if all possible. Lawyers are trained in what the law says about your situation, what your legal options are, how to help you decide what's best for your case, and how to present it in the best way. If you qualify, you can get a lawyer to represent you either for free or at a reduced rate. If you can't get a lawyer to represent you, you will have to go to court without one. This is what is called pro se in the court system. Okay, before we get started, have you filed any criminal charges against him?
No, I haven't, but I've thought about it.
Okay, well, domestic violence is a crime, but filing charges is up to you. However, if you do file charges, the state's attorney can request for an order of protection for you and your children. So I will just run you through the process of getting an order of protection on its own. This is where you start your paperwork for your court case. We need to fill out the appropriate forms and file them here in the clerk's office.
I'm filing the case, so I am the petitioner. And the person I'm filing the case against is the respondent, right?
Right. And you should also know that there are no filing fees or no sheriff fees in an order of protection case.
Oh, that's great. I don't even have access to our bank accounts.
Sadly, that is not uncommon in situations like this, but the laws are set up to help you. Come on, let's go inside the clerk's office and start your paperwork. Okay. You can get the forms at the clerk's office and fill them out there. If you are outside of Cook County, you can fill them out on the internet on the website www.illinoislegalaid.org by searching the words domestic violence and following the instructions. No matter how or where you fill out the forms, you will then file them with copies in the clerk's office to begin the process.
How do I know which forms to request or fill out?
Well, you will start with a petition, but you should know that there are different orders of protection that you can request. Each type is issued at a different time, and each type protects you for different lengths of time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
An order of protection is made to stop further domestic abuse in a number of different ways, including ordering the abuser to stay away from you. You may also ask the judge for other remedies, such as asking the abuser to pay certain expenses, asking for custody of your children, and asking for child support and maintenance. First of all, the courts can issue an order of protection in connection with other cases, such as a criminal case. However, to request an order of protection by itself, you need to fill out and file a petition. In the petition, you will provide the court with the necessary information and ask the court to enter orders of protection and provide certain remedies.
How much information about the abuse should I put in the petition?
Well, it's important to provide very detailed explanations of all of the abuse, including different dates and types of abuse. However, one recent event of abuse can be enough to show the need for an order of protection.
I'll include everything.
In your petition, you can ask for an emergency order of protection and a plenary order of protection.
What are those and what are the differences?
The emergency order of protection may be issued the same day you file the petition. It is designed to provide immediate protection, but it only lasts for 14 to 21 days. In a lawsuit, the other party is entitled to be notified and hear the case against him. An exception may be made to protect you if the judge feels there is a true emergency and can issue an emergency order of protection without first notifying the other party. To do so and issue an emergency order of protection, the judge has to feel that there is a genuine risk for additional abuse against you and other parties. You need to explain why you are afraid to notify the other person.
I know this is a big thing to ask the court to do.
You will need to return to court to request what is called a plenary order of protection. The respondent is entitled to a hearing, so this is why you must return to court to make your case and request a longer time period of protection. The plenary order of protection can last up to 2 years. After that, you will need to return to court to request an extension of that order or to request another one.
I think I understand, and I think I'm ready to fill out the forms and to file my petition.
Okay, let's fill out your paperwork. You will be filling out a petition. You will be asking for an emergency order of protection, and you will be asking for a plenary order of protection. And remember, you need to return to court at a later date to get the plenary order.
What else can I ask the court to do? What remedies should I request?
Well, there are a number of different remedies you can request, and they're all listed on the petition. Remember, if you don't ask for something, the court can't give it to you. Be sure to ask the court for all the remedies you need. In the emergency order, you cannot ask for custody or ownership or property or get money from the respondent because the court is giving you protection without hearing both sides. You can ask for these types of remedies in the hearing for the plenary order. Be sure to check with the clerk and make all the copies that you need.
Hi.
Hello. I would like to file my petition for an order of protection.
Okay. Do you need forms or have you completed them already?
Yes, my friend is a domestic violence advocate and she helped me fill them out. Here they are.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Your papers have been filed. Now, court is on break right now, so you'll have to return to the courtroom at 2 p.m.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As I have told you, once the emergency order of protection is issued, notice of this case, along with copies of all the documents you filed, will be served upon the respondent. That way, he will know when the hearing for the plenary order of protection is scheduled and whether or not there is an emergency order of protection against him.
Do I have to do that? I'm really afraid to tell him.
No, you do not. The sheriff or a private process server will serve the court papers on the respondent soon after you file the petition. The respondent will also receive a copy of the emergency order of protection if one is issued. There is no fee for service in an order of protection case.
That is good to know and really helps a lot. So what happens in the courtroom?
You will now be going to the hearing for the emergency order of protection. The judge will review your petition and ask you some questions. Just be polite and answer the judge's questions completely. Before going into the courtroom, be sure to turn off your cell phone or pager and make sure you are not chewing gum. Do not talk until your case is called and it is your turn. And remember, there is nothing to be afraid of. You will first need to check in with the judge's clerk, or the deputy will take your paperwork to the judge's clerk. Take a seat and wait for your case to be called.
Case number 555-1234,
When your case is called, tell the judge that you are present and step up to the bench. The judge will review your petition and ask you questions. The judge may want to dig deeper into the situation. If the judge feels he cannot issue the emergency order, then a hearing will be scheduled for the plenary order of protection and notice will be given to the respondent. If the judge does grant you an emergency order of protection, you will be responsible for filling out the order after the hearing. Often you will do this in advance and then make changes necessary to the order. The judge will review and sign the order of protection. Be sure to wait for the signed order to take with you. Again, after the hearing on the emergency order of protection, you must return on the hearing date for the plenary order of protection. At that hearing, the court will give both parties an opportunity to explain their side.
Cheryl, what can I do to make sure this order of protection is enforced?
You need to call the police if there is any further abuse or harassment, if the respondent has been ordered to stay away from you or your residence and he does not, and if he possesses any firearms. Once the order is issued, it will be entered that same evening into a law enforcement computer system. You should keep a copy with you and give copies to your children's school, daycare provider, relatives, or others. Then, if you need to, you can have a police officer or sheriff's deputy enforce or make the person obey the order of protection. The date the order expires is stated on the front of the order. To keep the order in effect, you will need to return to court before the expiration date to have it renewed. Remember, if you do not attend the next hearing for the plenary order of protection, the emergency order will automatically expire and the protections it provides against domestic violence will no longer be available.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. I now feel I can begin a new phase in my life and that my family and I are free from the threat of violence.
I'm glad I could help, and I wish you the best. You're in a very difficult situation right now, but there are many resources that can help you. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. We hope it has given you the information you need to understand orders of protection against domestic violence and the steps you need to follow in order to get one. Please visit illinoislegalaid.org, contact your local domestic violence advocacy organizations, contact your state and local bar associations, and be sure to contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline for a referral to an agency near you.